I'm also just doing this as a test because normally this doesn't work. Normally this app will crash when I try to go live from the dang phone. Can y'all hear me okay? Can y'all see fine? Wait a little bit longer. All right, we're getting some folks in. Welcome, welcome. Why is your dumbass in here? Get out of here. Hold on. Go. You're going to distract me. Bye-bye. All right, so I wanted to do a review of my experience of God of War thus far. And in order to do that properly, I have to go back in time a little bit. As we started getting closer to the release date, and I paid off that guy right there, I started to eat, train, and listen to Viking music like Kratos would, right? So I'm in the gym, banging it out in Spartan ways, doing crazy, stupid things I've never done before, like pushing sleds, throwing sledgehammers, all that, just trying to get into the God of War feel, right? I was listening to Viking music day in and day out at work, at the gym, all the time. So I was getting my body ready. I was getting hyped. My wife and I started watching the Vikings TV series and binge watched all 4 seasons. We're still on season 5 right now, and leading up to God of War's release. And so I ended up getting God of War Thursday before Friday at 9 o'clock. So I took the day off of work on Friday and just played that son bitch until 4 a.m. on Friday night, and then a majority of the day on Friday. And it's one of those games that's like, as soon as you open up the credits, or the start screen, right, you're consumed by the world that they're presenting. The last game that did that was, for me anyway, was Horizon Zero Dawn, and this game did every bit of that, except for, well, I'll get to that later. One of the things that I loved about Shadow of the Colossus, The Last Guardian, was how the game started from the start menu, right? And how the game immediately takes place. God of War did that on a new level, that like immediately, as soon as the game starts and you take control of Kratos and he swings that axe, wow! Immediately you feel the weight. And that is first and foremost the most impressive part about this game, was the weight that they added to the game. And what I mean by that is Kratos feels cumbersome. He feels heavy without feeling I guess I don't want to take a shot in another game, but it feels. Hold on a second. Let me pause. Stupid dog. Shut your boy. You better take your ass on outside. I'm changing that dog's name to Atreus. Irritating ass. Anyway, so the weight, right? So he's not cumbersome in the sense that like it irritates you. For me, Gears of War, in their movement. Now I understand how great Gears of War is. I don't mean to take shots at it, but what I mean by that is Kratos feels heavy without feeling limited by his weight. Okay, so, and not only that, it's the swinging of the axe. As soon as you hit that tree, you need to understand what plays into a feel. Okay, when you swing the axe, the sound that it's making while it's cutting through the air, the sound that it makes when it collides with whatever it is it's colliding to, the force feedback in the controllers, you PC boys can't get that on your mouse. Anyway, it hits the tree, thunk, right? And you get the force feedback, and then you get the sound. The sound is highly important. On top of the reticle will it'll change a hair, right? All of that together gives you a sense of feel, a sense of weight to it. And then on top of that, whatever it is you're hitting and the way that object or person or whatever reacts to the hit, the strike of the axe, the way that reacts also plays into the feel of the game. And so immediately right out of the gate, you're thunk, thunk, and you're hitting that tree. And boy, you feel that through your veins, boy. You're just getting hyped. Let's go. We're about to fuck somebody up. Wonk, wonk. And then the tree falls down, right? And they're like, oh shit, it's on. And then this motherfucker comes out of nowhere, and he's got the big fucking beard. And I forgot to mention that I grew my shit out, and I shaped it just like Kratos, just getting fucking ready. This dude comes over to the tree and picks this son of a bitch up like it's nothing. Just, he doesn't even make a noise. He doesn't even do that. He just picks it up and starts walking this big ass tree. And immediately I thought, now, if this son of a bitch is so strong that he could just pick up the tree without even a why did you need the axe in the first place? Couldn't you just cut that son of a gun down or just rip it out of the ground? Whatever. That's neither here nor there. And so that's the way the game starts. And understand, guys, that when I go into a game, I fully immerse myself, not only through what I told you about how I got ready for the game, but I start diving into the dev diaries. I want to learn as much as I can about the game. I want to learn about the not only the Cory Barlogs of the world, but I want to learn about the individuals behind it, behind the lighting, behind the scenery, behind the UI. I want to learn about all of it, right? And so what that does is it helps give me an appreciation for what it is that I'm experiencing. And so I did all that. And so I kind of knew what to expect. And with this one cut camera, or single shot, if you will, what my uncle helped bring to my attention was what that did. Not only did it make the story more intimate as it was following Kratos and Atreus through the world, but it also kind of kept it grounded in the sense of how the old God of Wars were, right? Because the old God of Wars, you had a stationary camera, right? And you would just see the whole thing playing out before your eyes like a puzzle. Well, with the one-shot camera, right, it almost feels like it's a stationary camera in a way, because the way you're controlling it and the way there's no cuts and the way that it transitions from gameplay to cutscene back to gameplay, and it's transitioning. So it kind of gives you the old school feel from the old God of Wars and the way that plays out. But immediately, as soon as you start to fight, whenever you first meet the whatever the fuck those enemies were that first show up, immediately it's like, yes. And it confirmed what I'd already started seeing in the gameplay footage, which is this game maintains what the old God of War was, which was enemy management, crowd management, right? So the idea is you no longer have, the blades of chaos with the chains. You're throwing them out there and you're getting whippy, right? And you're keeping everybody at bay. It's not like that. What you do at this game is you're throwing the axe and you can separate individuals from the crowd while you dodge and roll out of the way and kind of keep your distance, and you're still managing the crowd around you. And so it maintains the same combat from old, but now it's more intricate, it's more detailed, it's more dynamic, it's more tactical. And I just was floored at when you first throw that axe at the boards, whew, and it's just boom, it breaks through the barrier, and they're like, oh, here it comes. I'm getting ready to call it back. And you look down at triangle and you're like, here it is. I've been reading about this. I've been watching videos on this. I get to finally experience it. Boom, you hit triangle. You're like, oh shit, that felt great. I'm doing it again. Immediately. You throw the bitch, catch it back, and you're like, oh, it feels so good. It's just in your blood, in your veins, you're just getting fired up. Yes, yes. So what that did, and especially after reading the article about the gentleman that had his hand in that the most, and how they built that sequence, just that mechanic of the game, throwing the axe and retrieving it, that went through hell. 5 years. They didn't finalize that son of a bitch until 3 months before it released, because they had to get it right. If you go to Bear's channel or Fatal Mephisto's channel, I'm not sure where it's at now, but we talked about, it was a spoiler cast, and we talked about, we went more in depth on the story and all that. And I kind of dive in more of how the axe mechanic works and why it's so special. I'm just going to highlight on it real quick. I'm not going to dive too far into it, but what they had to do to create that effect and give you that weighty feel, which is what I mentioned earlier, but what's so impressive about this game, is when they throw the axe and it goes and it connects and there's a collision, and it sticks in a wall or it sticks in a tree, it sticks in an enemy, sticks in a rock, whatever. As soon as you pull it back, the axe comes at the most perfect curve because it still gives you line of sight of what's in front of you. The axe is coming around, so you can already start planning ahead. As soon as I catch it, I'm already looking at where I'm going next, whether I'm going to keep it in my hand and I'm a melee, or I'm going to immediately grab it and throw it back out again. It's giving you that sense of tactic or what you're going to use next. But the special part about what happens when you grab that axe is when it comes at you, it does this ever so slightly curve. And every time it's spot on. Just boom, right there at the handle. Just every time it's fucking perfect. And the sound that it makes is whistling through the air. The sound that it makes when it makes contact with your hand. And he had just a little bit of a give, just a little, like it's coming back with force. And Kratos is a motherfucking beast. You remember I told you about how he picked up that tree without a Right. So when that axe comes and he hits it, it's just a little bit of give, meaning that motherfucker's coming with force, and you cannot grab that axe. If you were out or in that game, in that world, and he gave that axe came flying back, we stuck our hand out there to intercept it, like Deion Sanders, our fucking hands getting snapped off. We ain't that powerful. We ain't that strong. We ain't a demigod. We ain't catching it. But he catches it and just a little bit of give. So it just gives you a little bit of sense of weight. Just fantastic. Oh my God. The sound it makes, the little thud that it makes, because he's got fucking burly ass man Viking hands. Just fantastic. Fucking fantastic. And so you're going at it, you're crushing people, you put your hands in their wound, and you just rip them apart. Just rip them apart. And then because the camera is more intimate, it's right behind you, you're getting a feel for everything that's going on, and he's ripping through them, you feel it, boy. You feel the weight of his body separating. It's magical, magical. Not to mention, the graphics. Where do you even begin with the graphics, right? I mean, you got, it's so highly detailed. It is amazing. You can see all the hairs in his beard. It's just yes. You see the veins popping out of him, and just yes. All of that gives you more of the immersion. Like you really feel like you're part of that world and that journey that they're going on, of fucking everything up, right? And all the goal is to get their mother's ashes to the top of the mountain, and you're going with them, and it feels fantastic. You have the audio. Right? They have the symphony and what they're doing with the symphony and how it just would be an epic roar, the build-up, just and it just builds up, and now you're in this epic, just pounding, just fucking people up in a fight. It's glorious. The way that I can't even, there's so much to say about this game in so little time. At first I was having some negative thoughts, and it took me to take a step back, sit down, talk to my uncle about it, talk to my homie Dooley about it, talk to Fatal Mephisto about it. I had to start talking to more people about the game. And what I realized is the negatives that I was feeling about this game were, a lot of it was because of my own doing, right? So part of it could have been because I could have tad overdone it on the hype level. I could have got a tad overhyped. The other side of it, which I will touch on a little bit more in depth in a second, is not having photo mode right out the gate. I need my photo mode, and I'll dive into it in a second. Let me backpedal a little bit. And the other side of it was Vikings, the show, and pairing the game coming out with the series to help me understand the lore more and get more into the Viking lifestyle and the Viking mindset. What that ended up doing was making me really, really want an authentic Viking game. And so as I started playing God of War, I kept reverting back to the fucking killer show of Vikings. Which, by the way, if you haven't seen Vikings, get you a Hulu account, start binge watching that, because Ragnarok is a beast, and everybody needs to witness that man's story. It is phenomenal. So anyway, that started weighing on me, and then the internet's happened, and I had people saying some just nonsense. You have people out there, oh, this just tops The Last of Us. Now look, I love this game, obviously. I don't even have my God of War stuff framed yet, but I got some giant posters and stuff that that are getting framed right now, so I'll have them up live this weekend, but I don't have them right now. I am all in with this game. But if y'all don't cut it the fuck out, calm down, and put some respect on Joel's name, please. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to say much more. Just stop it. Stop it with the blasphemy, okay? You do not get God of War without The Last of Us. Put some respect on that man's name. Anyway, let me get a drink of water. My mouth's getting a little dry. Okay, so the story. The way they poured in, or the way they altered the historical nature of Norse mythology was beautiful, and the way they kind of put their own spin on it. One of the things that really stood out to me, which I don't think a lot of people picked up on, is the way Kratos was interacting with his, let me just going to say boy. The way he was interacting with boy was perfect. And not because of the Kratos that we knew and grew up with on the previous installments, but because of his origins. His origin story is he was a Spartan. If you've seen 300, think of Leonidas. That essentially is Kratos. And if you know anything about Spartans, if a child was birthed and they felt like there was a weakness in that kid, they just toss him off a mountain. Just, bye, bitch. You ain't worthy. Bye. So you got to think, those kids from a really early age were taught, and day in and day out, their whole life was based on training and fighting and the glory of dying in battle, right? So that's what Kratos knows. On top of that, the gods that you're supposed to look up to and worship have been betraying him for years. Cosmic murdered his first family, right? So he's got all this hatred built up, and he's learned through his father and all the men around him just to be a straight warrior all the time. No shit, no bullshit. Don't trust nobody. Be about yourself, right? It's all about the shield and the sword. Get it done, okay? And so the way they took that origin story of the Spartan 300s, and then they take in the original three God of War games, and then they wrap it all together, throw in a new family, a new son, and a new mythology. Masterful, beautiful, makes so much sense. I absolutely dug that, and I don't. This is going to be spoiler free, so I'm trying not to say anything that spoils it. But this part might be a little bit. How can I go about saying this? So the weight. Before the previous God of Wars, you're keeping enemies at bay. Everything just flowed. It was like looping fights, looping battles. Your weapons are going out loosey-goosey, and you're keeping everything at bay, right? And this game, the story itself, you felt, for me anyway, because I'm raising daughters, and just now, before I started the video, I go and check on my eldest daughter, and hey, I gotta go to the store later, you wanna go with me? And she's like, I'm on the phone, Dad. And I was like, who are you talking to? It's Kyle, he's my friend. I was like, boy, I don't like him. I hate him already. And he was like, I love you. I was like, that's not what I said, boy. I said, I hate you. And then I walked out. That was a true story. That just happened. So, I automatically, identify with Kratos. I'm like, immediately murder somebody. Just murder. Like, you're talking to my daughter on the phone? Why? I don't care. No matter, you're dead. You know what I mean? Like, that's like, I feel that. But anyway, point is, the original God of Wars was more about the flow of the combat and the fun and the awe, the jaw-dropping moments of set pieces and climbing up Titans and all that. But the combat in itself didn't carry much weight to it. It was more about, just keeping the distance, like I said, and the flow of it all, and combos and aerials and that sort of thing, and juggling. In this game, it was all about the weight. They added the weight into all of that. So all that stays present, but now it's more about the weight. So at some point in the game, that can vary a little bit, okay, through your progression tree and whatnot, and depending on how you do things, you will come across a point in the game where now that weighty combat can feel like the old combat. And the impressive part about that, to me anyway, was how you could switch on the fly to flowy combat, right? Back to weighty. Flow, weight. And so you could throw the axe, you feel the weight just connects with somebody, and they're pinned up against the wall, right? And then you go into this other tactic, and you're like, wow, that's like they're using two different systems at the same time. And that to me was masterfully done. And just the whole scene leading up to what I'm referring to is just, the best way I can describe it is, as it's unfolding and you start to realize, oh shit, this is going down, you're like getting amped up, you know, you scoot up, your butt's kind of out, kind of perched out a little bit, your chest's kind of out, and you're like, yeah, this is going down. And then what you think is happening happens, you're like, yes, yeah, give me the sticks, and then you get them sticks, and you're just yeah. It's fantastic. Another thing I want to talk about is the very first boss battle. Lord Jesus. Now, lots of games have just amazing, and this word I don't like use a lot because it's overused a lot, but dude, the first boss fight is literally the definition of epic. It is, I can say, at least for me, that is by far one of the best, if not the best, boss battles. I'm not, don't leave, I'm not spoiling anything. I'm just saying how great it is. That first boss battle is by far one of the best boss battles I've ever experienced in my life. Absolutely fantastic. Like, wow. You know, Game Over Greggy said it best. It's like you're actually getting a chance to play through a Marvel boss fight and from the movies. And that's exactly, I mean, there's no other way to, I was trying to wrap my brain around a different way of putting a spin on that to make it my own, but there's not. You got to give credit where credit's due. That's exactly what it is. It is magical. And when it's over, you're like, oh my God, did that just happen? That was absolutely amazing. And that's also one of my very few critiques I have of the game. And I will get back to that at the end of the video because I to me feel like it's a spoiler. So I'll warn y'all before I go back into it, but I'll go back to that in a little bit. So the length of the game is absolutely perfect. I'm not even done. So I finished the game, but I'm going to attempt to go through and get the platinum because it handles the trophies in the same way that Horizon did, which is it's the reward of going through and achieving all the different trophies is unlocking and spending more time within that world. And it doesn't feel like a chore. And that's super important to me. You know what I mean? Like that's I want to play more in that world. I want to experience it. I want to see everything. But I'm gonna go back to the photo mode. The fact that it didn't launch with photo mode really, in my opinion, hurt it. Hold on, let me. Oh, I could do that, I guess. He said, oh, y'all be able to see the comments later. Whatever. Photo mode for me, I'll just use Horizon as an example, is whenever I would come across a new area of the map or something would transpire within the story and there's a scene that you're like, oh my God, I got to capture that. I want to be able to remember this. So you'll go into photo mode and then it kind of pauses the pacing of the game and allows you to slow down, calm your mind down. Because I was amped up a lot of the time playing this game, just amped, like a chained up pit bull. So in Horizon, you would go into photo mode and it allows all that to relax, and then you're just taking everything in. You can zoom in and change the filters and change the day-night cycle and change all that, and just really kind of get artistic with the environment that they provided for you. And it really helped me get even more engrossed into the world that was surrounding the character. And the fact that God of War did not have that, and I understand why. Part of it is because they wanted you to appreciate the single shot camera, right? But part of me felt like I could have changed the pacing myself through photo mode, and I could have appreciated the environment more and the details of the characters and that sort of thing more, and the combat. Because like when I go into photo mode, I'm gonna go into a certain attack, and as it's starting to strike through, I'm gonna go into photo mode and just view it. I want to take screenshot. I'll just go around the whole scene and scope it all out, get the perfect shot lined up, and be like, I'm good, and not even take it and go back into the game and keep firing away. To me, not having that right out of the gate, as dumb as it may seem to you guys, literally takes points away from me. Like I feel like that photo mode for me is the best addition to this generation, period, hands down. So that I had to take away from that because that I really needed that. And now I'm afraid once I get the platinum, I'm not going to want to go back through and do the photo mode again like that. I could be wrong, but I'm afraid by the time that thing gets patched in, I'll be done with it, you know. But I'm not sure. I mean, I've already got like what 40, 50 hours in this own bitch, so who knows. But anyway, so the way the game ends, the way the way the story unfolds, the character progression, the character chemistry back and forth with one another, all of it's really good. Really, really good. I'm not going to go into comparing it to other games or anything like that because that's not going to do the game justice. I'm going to let it stand on its own 2 feet. I absolutely adore this game. The combat is so good. It's the one reason why I could never get into Bloodborne. It's the one reason why I could never get into Witcher 3 because I felt like the combat was so stiff with those two games. It was just it's minimalist. Like, you know, with Bloodborne, it's just very few moves. It never really changed. And with this game, it's always changing. And you can stack different move sets on one another, and then that will unlock a different move set. And then you can throw them all together. And then on top of that, you have all these, you know, on your tree, as you're unlocking more perks and more armor sets and all that, it starts to unlock more moves. And I haven't even seen them all yet. And keep in mind, you can stack them and that can create a different effect. Like, it's absolutely amazing. That the combat is what a lot of people are worried about, and that's the best part of the game. Hands down. It blows away the story, in my opinion. It blows away the graphics even like that. But they go hand in hand, in my opinion. But for the most part, the gameplay is what stands out, and that's what everybody claims to, you know, care about. So if there's anybody out there still waiting on this game or sitting on it and trying to wait to see how they feel, I don't know what you're doing with your life right now, honestly. Like, it's absolutely stunning. Now here's the what I'm going to consider a spoiler. So if you don't want to be spoiled, mute me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I talked about the first stranger fight. That was, and how great it was. If you play the old God of Wars, you know that there's so many epic boss fights throughout the game that when you first experience that boss fight with the stranger, you're like, dude, this is the first fight? Oh my God. Like, how much more badass is this shit gonna be? If that was the very first fight, what the fuck is the last fight gonna be like, right? And that's my biggest complaint. I understand now, because now that I've done some follow-up and some more research, but at the time of playing it, which is all that really kind of matters in this kind of experience review, is I expected this, and so I got the peak, right, and then came down from there, as opposed to building to a peak and down. So I feel like that set the tone wrong for me, is that there was never a better fight or boss fight than what you first get in the very beginning of the game. And that, to me, is not done properly, to me. Now, after watching some spoiler casts and stuff like that, I have a better understanding of why they chose to do that, and I respect it, and it makes me really excited for the sequel. But for now, I mean, I'm going to stand by it. It bothers me. That bothered me. I was expecting just out of this world shit to go down, and never really took place after that. And it sucks to say that, because it kind of takes away from how great that scene was in itself, and that I should be just floored by that and let that stand on its own. But I can't. I keep going back to, well, what if, right? But man, this game is just, here's the other thing is now, you know, what are we playing until another game comes out, right? So it's like God of War now has set this new bar for anything that's coming out after it. I think Detroit's going to Detroit Become Human is going to be lucky, because it's such a different game that it doesn't have to match that level of epicness, because it's such a different game. So we got that coming out next month, which is going to be great. But no, I don't like it better than Last of Us. Cut it out. Whenever Spider-Man drops, though, what I'm curious, though, is can Spider-Man dethrone this? I don't know. I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that the only people that can dethrone this is PlayStation. Nobody else is going to dethrone it. I understand that a lot of people say Red Dead has that chance, and I agree with you. For you, but I don't agree with that for me, because the first Red Dead, or Red Dead whatever, Red Dead Redemption. While I understand that game is phenomenal, I will never take anything away from it, but for whatever reason, I cannot get through that game. I've tried 3 times, and every time I get to Mexico, I'm like, fuck it, I'm out. Can't do it. So Red Dead's going to be amazing. I'm going to get it just to look at it from a technical aspect, and I'm going to try really hard to get into it. I'm going to watch me some westerns. I'm going to go do some 6-shooter shooting out here in Texas. I'm going to try to get into it, but it is what it is. But I don't think that game's going to come close. Maybe I'll be surprised and I'll be wrong. But for the most part, the only people that can take and dethrone Santa Monica is another PlayStation studio. And we're not going to talk about The Last of Us Part 2 because we already know. It's a done deal. But will Spider-Man be able to do it? I don't know. And if it can, that's going to be phenomenal. I'm super excited for that. But overall, this game is absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. There's some audio things that I would, critique here and there that are probably can be patched in. But for the most part, you really have to nitpick to downplay this game. Like one of my nitpicks is Kratos never gets wet. That's a thing for me that bothers me to no end. As soon as I get a character and there's a puddle or there's water or a waterfall or a stream of some sort, I roll through that shit. And then I go and look. Is he wet? Is she wet? What's going on? And then he wasn't wet. And I was like, motherfucker. I also see foliage, or for those of you that don't know what that is, that's plants, trees, plant life, I will go and run at it and run through it. And if it doesn't move with my body, I'm like, son of a bitch. So those are there. They're not present, or they're not present in the game. That bothers me. Same way it bothered me in Horizon. But the intricacies of the animations within the battle scenes, though, and how you can pair this moveset with another moveset. The animations there are fantastic. It kind of remind me of Nier Automata. Nier Automata has some dope swordplay animations, and it goes real fast. So if you slow it down, and like I recorded a clip and then I slowed it down on my phone to watch it in slow motion. Like she'll be twirling her sword and she'll kick her foot up and like bounce it back the other way and catch it with this hand. Like it's super fast, but when you slow it down and you watch it, like oh my god, it's masterful. And that's how God of War was. So I imagine when Photo Mode comes here, I'll be able to really play with it and kind of play with the animations and see how intricate it gets. As an example, if you throw the axe, thud, and you turn to pummel this dude in the face, and then you call the axe, he puts his hand inverted. Come back like that, as opposed to like him turning his whole body around and catching it. Like he'll use the other hand to catch it. It's sick. That sort of thing is what I get hyped for. Overall, if I had to put a number on it, this game is a 9.3.2. 93.2. That's what it is. This game is fantastic. I think everybody should experience it. How about the triceps? Oh yeah, he did have back muscle. Whenever you climb a chain, you see his back. He's just yes. I liked it a lot. Somebody who remained unnamed, I was talking to them about it, and he was like, I wonder what he tastes like. And I was like, what? He's a funny dude. Either way, that shit's amazing. I hope everybody else is enjoying it. I'm playing on normal, getting wrecked by Valkyries, getting wrecked by a lot of things, quite frankly. I'm not ashamed to say I suck at these games. And the people that are playing this on the hardest level, my hat's off to you. You're phenomenal. I will never be able to do that. That game will make me mad as hell if I try to beat it on the hardest level. I got a big head thinking I was going to do that on my second playthrough, but now I'm looking at it realistically and I'm like, yeah, it's not going to happen. No. It'll end up making me hate the game. Anyway, so now I'll take a few questions. If y'all have any for me, now that some people have left. Yeah, see, I'm not doing that. I play on normal. I'm real good at normal. That's my zone. That's my lane. I stay on normal. You know what I mean? I ain't messing with nothing else. I'm not cold enough for that. So anybody have any questions for me that I need to address? Or are we done here? Yeah, do whatever. Any questions you got, hit me. He asked for spoiler questions, just in case somebody's listening to this, not watching. So if somebody hits me with some spoiler questions, I'm going to answer them, and I don't want to spoil anything for you, so please turn this son bitch off. Also, let me go ahead and grab my beautiful thing here. Oh, look how gorgeous. It's just beautiful. It's fantastic. Look at that. Even the statue carries weight. I mean, come on. It's just phenomenal. All right, I think I missed some questions. I apologize. Oh, one thing before we go on. Notice how even Nathan Drake's statue, his pants are wet. You notice that? Even the statue makers recognize the greatness that is Naughty Gods. All right, sorry. What were the questions? Say it again. I missed them. So change it. Oh, that's a good point. The armor pieces. They did a better job of allowing you to customize Kratos in a way that really kind of fit your playstyle and or personality. That was one thing that was lacking on Horizon, is they didn't give you enough options or choices. And on this game, you can really kind of dive in pretty deep. The only way I think they can improve it is if they allow you on the sequel to change the colors and the dyes and the patterns and that sort of thing, which I hope they do, because that would be amazing. But yeah, the armor sets are wicked dope, and but the only way you can improve it is by giving us color choices, right, and allow us to change the color. But other than that, it's awesome. I didn't say anything spoiler. What the hell? Ah, hell! I lost another guy. Keep losing people to spoilers. Who messed? Did I say it or somebody else messed with it? Who else? Who spoiled it? It's probably Wagos. Whatever he said, he was lying. What, did you ask me a question? I don't think you're supposed to have a moment of silence. He's a cockaman. What? I don't know what that is, but okay. It must be a northerner thing. No idea what that means. No questions? We're about to wrap it up. Earlier, Fatal, you said you sent me a link to something. If I back out of this, I won't be able to get back in, so I can't look at links right now. I apologize for having shitty equipment. Yes, you can go ahead and ask me spoiler questions. Everybody else has already left anyway. I got to upload more. Man, I'm working on it. That's why I got this room. So all of this is going to be mounted. I'm going to start airbrushing. I'm going to airbrush some shit on the walls tomorrow and throughout the weekend. I got to get my Kratos done up there. He's 3D printed. I'm going to airbrush him. So I got a lot more to do at the studio. I got these oh shit. I got these soundproof panels that helps deaden the sound, and it makes me sound better when I talk into it. Supposedly, I don't know. So I got that. I got to install somewhere. So I plan. The goal is to start uploading more often, and I really want to have. My main goal is to do interviews with developers and more or less dive into what goes into the creative minds on how they create what they do, and that I think by talking more with the actual individuals behind these games and what they put into it and where they get inspiration from, it will allow us to get more. Yes, my room's on a slant. Shut up, Fatal. You already know that. The shit's slanted. Shut up. See, you're not even fucking with me. Anyway, whenever you learn more about how games are made, you'll have more of an appreciation whenever you're starting to play through them, and you'll be more. It's easier to overlook the flaws that bother you. Oh, okay. So that question. You should delete the spoiler. I've learned to never go against what Dreadhead says because he always ends up right. So I will not address that. Dreadhead's probably right. I apologize. juegos. Short answer, saw it coming, makes sense, awesome. Any other questions? Silence. Also, I'd have people jump in, but I don't know how to do that from my phone, so. What? Are we playing? Play what? The hell are you talking about? These people. I guess we're done. I don't know. I'm not getting any feedback right now. No, I already beat it. I did my, this was my review on the game itself. No, I don't stream single player games because I get too immersed. And y'all don't want to see me get all crazy. Like I said, I get hype. I get real hype. Wife's getting mad at me. Baby's trying to sleep. I'm like, well, I'm too hyped, too amped up. I can't do it. And I suck at them too. I tend to suck at single player games, but I prefer them. Unless it has a gun. If it has a gun, I'm phenomenal at it. You can just go back on my channel and see that. But as far as like when it's got sword play and stuff, I suck at it. And you have to move and dodge. I get wrecked. So nobody wants to watch that. Yeah, but my reaction is a lot of the time just like, motherfucker. I don't. Okay, look, if you want a reaction, go watch my earlier streams. It's early on my channel, me playing Bloodborne. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that. Also, part of the reason why I hate that game, it made me very angry. Also playing The Witcher, it's like you're walking around as Gerardo or whatever the fuck his name is, and it's like, ignite candle, ignite. And I'm like, no, I don't want to ignite candles, Gerardo. I just want to play the fucking game, and you keep going, ignite. Fucking stupid game. I will never understand why everybody says that game is the greatest game of all time, because it is definitely not. Definitely not. That game is irritating. Yeah, for me, anyway. It's not a bad game. I'm just bad at it. Yeah, we're not going to address that, because Dreadhead told me not to. And that man is rarely wrong, and so I can't address it. And it irritates me that he's always right. He's like my wife, without being my wife. But they're both always right, and that irritates the shit out of me. One day, though, I will be right, and I'm going to rub it in his face, and it's going to be awesome. I see a knee on the oh, that's not a knee. That's a baby doll's head. I thought there was somebody sitting right there, but I didn't think anybody was in the house. I was really confused. Got kind of nervous for a second. I thought there was somebody's knee, and they've been watching this whole stream from inside my house, and I was like, what? Anyway, it was just a baby doll. What are you going to do? All right, so we good? We're done? I might need to edit some of this and chop it up a little bit, make it more of a complete review. I don't know. I've never done this before. I've never really talked to myself before. It's very strange just sitting here looking at myself, talking to myself. It's very odd. I'm not very good at it. Some people can do this shit for hours. I cannot. I need feedback from a live person. But overall, went great. Love the game. 9.3.2 or whatever the fuck I said it was. I don't remember. Game's fantastic. Love the audio. Oh, one other thing. They haven't added an audio patch, a 3D audio for the Platinum headset. Okay? I bought them sons of bitches to experience 3D audio, and they didn't give me a 3D audio. You know what it is? You know what it is? This is the new Vita. This is the new Vita. They're not going to support it. Damn you, Sony. Damn you. Damn you. You're lucky I had this shit in the living room with the 4K HDR and the 7.1 surround sound, so it was fantastic, and I got to feel the thud of the bass every time he said, boy, and I funked somebody in the face with an axe. I got to feel that in my chest, right? So you lucked out. Otherwise, if I was stuck in this room playing it, I would have had to rely on this, and I wanted 3D audio, and you didn't provide it. Why? Because you're treating it like the Vita. You don't need to do that. I spent $150 on that son bitch, and I want 3D audio on my games. Make it happen. Don't make it the Vita. Don't make it the Vita. Yeah, scars from his past. I mean, why? I mean, that's if they didn't have that, that'd be a huge downfall to me. Like that would irritate the shit out of me if he didn't have the scars. I mean, yeah, that you have to have that. You're going on a whack.
What?
You spelled whack. You're going on a whack.
No.
Girl, learn how to spell.
That's an L.
Let me see. Y'all see that? I'm going on a whack. That does not say walk.
That says
That is
walk.
a C. You don't know how to spell.
It says an L.
Go. Be
Well,
gone.
I'm an NJHS, so hush it.
Hold your tongue, woman. Go. I love you. All right. So anyway, thanks. See, now you got me talking like you are you right? You're messing with my stream, woman. All right. We're gonna wrap this up. I appreciate everybody stopping by. I'm going to have a show this weekend called Debating Greatness. And I have, so far, if Jack Move finishes the game in time, OBJ the Don's in. I believe Porter Rock said he'll be there. Sick Humor said he'll be there. I'm forgetting some other evil. We're all going to be in the same show, and we're going to debate all the PlayStation exclusives that come out this generation, and we're going to fire away and come up with which game is the best game this generation so far. And be sure to tune into that one because there's going to be a lot of people going for similar games or the same game, and I'm going to come in and just mix it all up and wreck their thought process a little bit. So be sure to come by for that. That's going to be awesome. And I'm also working on some interviews with developers. I got a few lined up. It should be pretty freaking awesome. And that's going to be very different from what you've ever seen before. I got like 5 lined up. I just got to make sure the times line up properly. And I got to get better at the technology side because I can't be streaming through my iPhone like I'm doing right now. That's terrible. So I got to get my PC up to par with the camera and whatnot. And when you have 3 daughters, funds are limited for daddy's playtime. Like this magnificent beast right here, I had to put on layaway. I didn't know layaway was still around. But once I found out that it was, I was like, oh, we're doing that. And I'm also doing that again for the Spider-Man one. And then, the Days Gone one. I'm going to do it for that, And then I got The Last of Us Part 2 coming out. And they're going to have a whole, a huge amount of collectible stuff. I'm going to get the Pro. I'm going to get the statue. If they have 3 statues, I'm getting all of those. So I'm going to have that bitch on layaway for a year. I'm going to have it on layaway for a year. So to me, that's more important than the technology side. So you'll have to bear with me until I get all this, worked out because my goal is to get interviews with developers on here and it's going to be glorious. It's going to be fantastic. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed it. Go out, buy this game. Oh, and one other thing. You know what? After you play God of War and you beat it, if you didn't play Hellblade, go buy it. Hellblade goes perfectly with this game. It's fantastic. I love Hellblade, one of the best games this generation. You need to go buy it because not enough people bought that game, and that makes me depressed, along with Max Payne 3. Not a lot of people paid for that game, and that makes me mad because that's one of the greatest games of all time. Max Payne 3 is that shit. All right, I'm out. I don't know how to end it. Son of a bitch. This happened last time. Oh, here it is.